What is truly killing a man's vitality after the age of 60 is not aging, and it is not disease either. It is the lies you have been forced to believe your entire life. How many times have you asked yourself, why is my body not responding the way it used to? Why are my nights shorter? My memory getting foggier, my energy draining day by day. Even though the doctor says all my health indicators are normal, I have met hundreds of men just like you. They stay silent, they endure it, and they think this is just the natural price of growing old. But the truth is something else entirely. It is not your age that is bringing you down. It is the false habits and beliefs that society has drilled into your head for decades. Over more than 30 years in practice, I have seen men fall not because of cancer or heart disease, but because of a silent enemy. They stop being connected to their own bodies. And if you believe that after turning 60, sex, touch, and pleasure should fade away, then you are robbing yourself of one of the most powerful natural medicines your body has ever given you. Did you know a Harvard study that followed nearly 30,000 men over many years found that those who ejaculated regularly had a significantly lower risk of developing prostate cancer? That is right. What you once believed to be dirty might actually be the very thing that could save your life. And that is just one small piece of the bigger picture. Because masturbation after the age of 60 is not just about pleasure. It is how you keep your hormones from shutting down, how you keep blood flowing, keep your brain sharp, protect your joints, boost your immune system, and even extend your life by 7 to 10 years. That is right. Just one small habit could transform the rest of your life. So before you scroll away, ask yourself this. If there were a simple habit that only took a few minutes a day, but could give you better health, deeper sleep, sharper memory, and a stronger, more confident sense of manhood, would you want to know what it is? If the answer is yes, type the number 1 in the comments, so I know you are truly listening. Stay with me until the end, because in this video, I am going to reveal 7 secrets that every man over 60 should have heard decades ago. 7 secrets that could completely change how you see aging and how you live for the next 10 years. Secret number 1. Nitric oxide, the key to blood circulation and erections. Do you remember the days when just a glance, a passing thought was enough to make your body instantly respond? But now, after the age of 60, things are not quite so effortless anymore. It is not that you are less of a man, it is because your body is running low on a tiny yet powerful molecule, nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the compound that helps your blood vessels expand, allowing blood to easily flow down to your penis. Put simply, without nitric oxide, there is no erection. Interestingly, what Viagra does is simply mimic this natural process that your body used to handle on its own. After the age of 60, nitric oxide levels can drop by as much as 50%. That means your blood vessels become less flexible. Blood flow weakens, and you start to notice those moments when your body just does not respond the way it used to, even when the desire is still there. But here is the good news. Your body still knows how to turn it back on. When you masturbate consciously and properly, you are not just releasing nitric oxide to keep blood flowing strong. You are also training your blood vessels to stay flexible, supporting your cardiovascular health, and even improving your memory by boosting blood flow to the brain. I once had a patient named George, 66 years old, who came to me with this concern. Doctor, I want to, but my body just won't cooperate anymore. Blood tests showed that his nitric oxide levels were less than half of what is normal for someone in their 40s. After I coached him through how to reconnect with his body through mindful, slow, intentional masturbation, focusing on sensation and breathing. Just a few months later, he not only regained his erections, but also felt less tired, had more stable blood pressure, and enjoyed deeper sleep. George looked at me with a smile and said, "Turns out what I needed was not a pill. It was to reconnect with my own body. And this is not just one man's story. A study published in the journal Circulation Research found that men who maintain stable nitric oxide levels have a 40% lower risk of heart disease compared to those who are deficient. That means every time you touch yourself in the right way, you are not just keeping your manhood alive, you are protecting your heart, the very engine that keeps you alive. If you have ever experienced the frustration of wanting to, but not being able to try typing the word blood in the comments, I want to know how many men out there are truly in need of restoring this essential flow. And remember, nitric oxide is the silent flame that keeps you alive, powerful, and full of vitality, both in the bedroom and in the rest of your life. Secret number 2, deep sleep, prolactin and the hormones of recovery. If you've ever spent the night tossing and turning, staring wide-eyed at the clock as the hours crawl by, or worse, barely dozing off, only to wake up 4 or 5 times to pee, you know what true exhaustion feels like. After the age of 60, insomnia does more than just leave you tired the next morning. It chips away at your memory, your heart health, and your sex hormones. I once met a man named Walter, 71 years old, with a gaunt face and deep dark circles under his eyes. He said to me, "Doctor, I have tried everything. Herbal teas, sleeping pills, meditation, but I still cannot get a full night's sleep." What surprised him most was not that he needed more medication, but that he was missing something else entirely: orgasm. Science has shown that after reaching orgasm, a man's body releases prolactin, a hormone that brings deep relaxation and flips a switch to enter REM sleep, the most restorative phase of rest. This is why younger men often drift into a deep, peaceful sleep right after sex. But after age 60, prolactin levels gradually decline, making it harder to fall asleep, easier to wake up in the middle of the night, and preventing the brain from getting the proper reset it needs. A study in Germany found that men who ejaculated regularly before bed had 20 to 30% better sleep quality than those who did not. In other words, your body is already wired with a powerful, safe, and completely free form of natural sleep medicine. When I guided Walter to reconnect with his body through a slow, mindful masturbation ritual, not for quick release, but to fully relax his entire being, within just a few weeks, he was sleeping 5 to 6 uninterrupted hours a night. He no longer woke up restless or anxious in the middle of the night. He smiled and said, "Doctor, this is the first time in years I've woken up actually feeling rested." If this sounds like you, those sleepless nights, those mornings where you feel like you never even closed your eyes, try typing the word sleep in the comments. I want to know how many men out there are truly yearning to get back their deep natural sleep without relying on pills, because you deserve that. And remember, deep sleep does more than just make you feel alert. It is the foundation for hormone production, muscle repair, memory retention, and the regeneration of your life energy. If you miss out on it, you will pay the price in both your body and your mind. But when you reclaim it, you will feel like you have turned back the clock by 10 years. And this is just the beginning. Because beyond sleep, there is another secret that directly affects whether you keep your memory sharp and your mind clear. That is secret number 3, how your hippocampus and your brain can actually be exercised to resist aging. Secret number 3, your brain and memory, activating the hippocampus. Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgotten what you came in for? Or found yourself in the middle of a conversation and a familiar name just vanished from your mind? After the age of 60, this becomes all too common, and most men assume it is just natural aging, something you cannot change. But the truth is very different. Your brain, specifically the hippocampus, the center of memory and learning, can actually be exercised to keep you sharp, if you know how. I remember Henry, 69 years old, a veteran history teacher. He once had a phenomenal memory, able to recite historical dates and events with ease. But when he came to see me, he sighed and said, "Doctor, I forget the names of my former students. Sometimes I even forget why I opened the refrigerator." He was afraid of Alzheimer's disease since his father had suffered from it. But when I asked about his sex life, Henry admitted I stopped all of it, even touching myself, years ago. I just figured that at this age it does not matter anymore, and that was the one reason he never expected. Science has shown that orgasm boosts blood flow to the brain, releases dopamine, and stimulates the hippocampus. In other words, every time you reach orgasm, your brain gets a workout. It is like cardio for your memory. A study from Coventry University in the United Kingdom found that older adults who maintained regular sexual activity scored higher on tests of memory and verbal skills. That is not coincidence. That is biology. Your brain needs this kind of stimulation to maintain neuroplasticity and to prevent shrinkage over time. When Henry began to re-engage with slow, conscious, unhurried practice within just a few weeks, he noticed that his memory was sharper, his conversations more fluid, and his sleep deeper. He smiled at me and said, "Doctor, it feels like my brain just woke up from hibernation." And I knew right then he had regained not just his memory, but also his confidence. If you have ever felt that panic when you forget someone's name, or worried that your mind is slipping away, try typing the word brain in the comments. I want to see how many men here are truly ready for a simple, effective brain workout. And remember, this memory does not vanish overnight. It fades gradually, like sand slipping through your fingers. But the good news is, you can slow it down and even reverse the process just by giving your brain the kind of stimulation it craves. And if memory is the foundation of your clarity, then immunity is the shield that protects your life. That is why secret number 4, how ejaculation acts like a natural vaccine, might just surprise you. Secret number 4, immunity and resistance. Ejaculation as a natural vaccine. After the age of 60, most men begin to notice something unsettling. Their bodies suddenly feel more fragile. A minor cough can linger for weeks. A small scratch takes much longer to heal. And every winter, colds, flus, and infections seem to be lurking around every corner. Many people think this is just a normal part of aging, but the truth is, your immune system is weakening, and you can actually turn it back on in a way most people would never expect through orgasm. I remember Samuel, 72 years old, a former baseball athlete. He used to be the kind of man who never got sick, but in recent years he told me, "Doctor, if someone sneezes near me, I end up sick. I get so discouraged, I just want to lock myself indoors all winter." When I asked about his sex life, he gave a half-hearted laugh and said, "At my age, I gave all that up. It just does not seem to matter anymore." What he did not realize was that giving it up had made his immune system decline even faster. Science has shown that when a man reaches orgasm, the number of white blood cells, your body's frontline soldiers against viruses and bacteria, spikes. At the same time, IgA antibodies are activated. These are your body's first layer of defense against colds and flus. One study from the United Kingdom found that men who ejaculated regularly had a 30% lower risk of catching colds and the flu compared to those who abstained. In other words, every orgasm is like a natural vaccine. Your body produces no cost, no side effects, and more effective than you might think. After I explained this to him, Samuel began reconnecting with his body. He no longer saw masturbation as shameful. He treated it as immune training. A few months later, he reported that for the first time in years, he made it through winter without being bedridden by illness. He even rejoined his old walking club, which he had dropped out of before. In his eyes, I saw a spark of confidence return, a kind of freedom no pill had ever given him. If you are listening to this and remembering all those times you struggled through a cold or spent entire days exhausted from a low-grade fever, try typing the word strong in the comments. I want to know how many men are ready to rebuild their immune defenses using their own body's natural tools. Remember, growing older does not have to mean becoming weaker. Your body still knows how to fight if you give it the chance. An orgasm may just be the most powerful wake-up call for an immune system that has been asleep for too long. But having a strong immune system is only part of the equation, because beyond prevention, your body also needs another natural mechanism, one that can ease pain, protect your joints, and help you stay strong in the face of aging. That is secret number 5, pain relief and joint protection. Secret number 5, pain relief and joint protection. Getting older often comes with a quiet, persistent kind of pain. Aching knees in the morning, back pain from sitting too long, or that overall feeling of being worn out like a rusted old machine. Many men over 60 have said to me, "Doctor, I am not afraid of dying. I am afraid of living every single day in pain." And sadly, most of them are living off painkillers when in reality, the body already has its own built-in pain relief system. A natural morphine far more powerful than you might think. And it is released every time you reach orgasm. I remember Robert, 70 years old, a retired mechanic. He walked into my clinic carrying a bag full of pain medications and sighed. "If I do not take these, I cannot sleep. But the more I take, the more exhausted I feel, and I'm worried about my liver and kidneys." When I explained to him that after orgasm, the body releases endorphins, natural pain-relieving hormones, and also triggers a slight boost in testosterone, which helps strengthen bones and slow muscle loss, he looked at me with doubt. But after just a few weeks of practicing mindful, intentional self-pleasure, he began sleeping better. His back pain eased up, and most importantly, he told me, "I feel like I'm alive again." It is not just the pain, my confidence came back too. Science supports this. A decade-long study in Europe found that men who maintained healthy sexual activity had a 25% lower risk of osteoporosis and joint degeneration compared to those who had stopped completely. That means every orgasm is not just about pleasure. It is a natural dose of bone and joint medicine. If you are living with chronic back pain, aching joints, or you are worried about osteoporosis, try typing the word pain in the comments. I want to see how many men out there are truly looking for a natural, drug-free way to relieve pain, one that your body is already wired for. Remember, this pain is not your destiny. It is your body asking for help, and when you give it a natural way to soothe itself, you do not just escape the pain. You reclaim the freedom to move, to walk, and to live fully again. But there is another truth. Most people will not tell you. It is not just your bones and joints that need regular attention. Your penis, the very symbol of your manhood, also follows the rule of use it or lose it. And that is exactly what you are going to discover in secret number 6. Secret number 6. Your penis. Use it or lose it. There is a hard truth that many men over the age of 60 do not want to hear the penis, just like any other muscle or blood vessel in your body, will deteriorate if you stop using it. No one expects to sit in a chair for a whole year and then run a marathon. Yet countless men believe that once old age arrives, they can retire from sex without consequence. Unfortunately, that is not how the body works. I remember Charles, 68 years old, who came to me in distress. "Doctor, I gave up on sex and masturbation over 5 years ago, and now it feels like my penis just stopped working. Even when I want it to, it no longer responds. When I examined him, I found signs of soft tissue fibrosis, narrowed blood vessels, and significantly reduced elasticity. This was the real reason behind his weak erections, and in some cases, curvature or even shrinkage. It was not just age, it was neglect. Science calls this the principle of use it or lose it. When you maintain regular erections, whether through sex or mindful masturbation, you are keeping your blood vessels flexible, your tissues elastic, and your nervous system responsive. But if you leave it dormant for too long, your body assumes it is no longer needed and begins shutting the system down. A study from the American Urological Association found that men who continued to maintain regular erections after the age of 60 had a 40% lower risk of erectile dysfunction compared to those who stopped completely. That means this small, seemingly simple habit could be the very thing keeping your manhood alive. After my guidance, Charles began retraining his body slowly, gently focusing on sensation instead of outcome. A few months later, he returned with a smile and said, "I am not 30 again, but at least now my body still responds." And that gives me confidence that I have not lost myself. If you have ever felt the helplessness of your body no longer listening to you, try typing the word "alive" in the comments. I want to know how many men here are truly ready to remind their bodies that they still matter. And remember this, your penis is not just about sex. It is a barometer of your vascular health, your nervous system, and even your longevity. If you maintain it, it will maintain you. But if you abandon it, you will lose more than just erections. You will lose the very strength and self-belief that define who you are. But even if you are still maintaining it, there is one silent enemy that may already be reprogramming your brain, quietly draining your energy and numbing your natural sensitivity. That enemy is pornography, and that is the uncomfortable truth I will reveal in secret number 7. Secret number 7, longevity and survival. How regular ejaculation can help you live longer. Many men believe that longevity is all about genetics or luck. But science tells a very different story. One of the most powerful factors that can extend your life by 7 to 10 years is already inside your body, and it is directly linked to orgasm. I remember Patrick, 74 years old, a widower who lived alone in quiet isolation. He came to see me and said something that stayed with me, "Doctor, I do not really see a reason to keep living. I am just existing." Patrick was not battling a serious illness, but his eyes were hollow, his body worn down, and his spirit fading. I shared with him something most men never hear, that regular orgasm can lower stress, reduce blood pressure, strengthen the immune system, and lift your mood. All critical components of living longer. At first he laughed. He thought I was joking, but then he tried it, and slowly he began to change. A few months later, Patrick returned to my office looking like a different man. He was sleeping better. His blood pressure had stabilized. He had even started going for walks in the morning. He looked at me and said, smiling, "Turns out I'm still alive, not just surviving." And science backs this up. A large study in the United Kingdom followed thousands of men for many years and found that those who maintained regular orgasms had a 50% lower mortality rate than those who did not. Why? Because orgasm is not just about pleasure. It is a biological mechanism that lowers cortisol, the stress hormone balances blood pressure, activates your immune system, and keeps your heart strong. Every orgasm is like a full-body workout for both your mind and your body, a dose of medicine no doctor will ever write you a prescription for. If you are listening right now, and something inside you is whispering, "I want to live longer, but not just longer. I want to live better, fuller, and with joy," then type the words "live long" in the comments. I want to know how many men are ready to fight, not just for more years, but for more dignity, more vitality, and more life. Remember, this death does not come all at once. It creeps in little by little when you stop connecting, stop feeling, stop allowing your body to do the very things it was built to do to protect you. But that also means life can be extended one day at a time if you choose to act. And that action is simpler than you think. It starts by reclaiming a natural habit that society has taught you to feel ashamed of. These 7 secrets I have shared with you are not just advice. They are a roadmap, a way for you to enter this stage of life, not with decline, but with a powerful resurgence of health, memory, manhood, and longevity. But there is one more thing that matters even more. You need a simple ritual, a golden daily routine that can bring all of this to life. And that is exactly what I will give you in the final part. The golden ritual to reboot your entire body starting today. Conclusion and the golden ritual. If you have followed along this far, take just one moment to reflect. These 7 secrets we have uncovered together are not random stories. They are science. They are the lived experiences of thousands of men I have treated. And maybe they are your story too. You have seen how one small action, something you were taught your whole life to feel ashamed of, could actually be the key to stronger heart health, deeper sleep, sharper memory, a more resilient immune system, more flexible joints, stronger erections, and even a decade of extra life. But here is something important to remember. Knowledge is only a seed. If you do not plant it, it will never bear fruit. That is why I want to give you a simple, practical tool, something easy to do, but powerful enough to transform the rest of your life. I call it the golden ritual. Every day set aside 10 minutes just for you. No distractions. Turn off the TV. Put your phone away. Sit down in silence. Take a deep breath and begin to touch yourself. Not to rush to the end, but to listen to your body, to feel your heartbeat, the flow of blood, the rhythm of your breath. No goal, no pressure, just connection. Some choose to do this in the morning to start their day with clarity and energy. Others use it before bed, like a natural sleep aid that leads them into deep, restful sleep. I have seen incredible transformations from this simple ritual. One man regained his erections after years of giving up. Another slept peacefully for the first time in a decade. Some have even cried, realizing, I have never truly treated my body with kindness until now. They came back to life, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually. If what I have shared here resonates with you, type the number 1 in the comments. I want to know how many men out there are ready to rise to reclaim the health, vitality, and strength that are rightfully theirs. And do not forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because this is just the beginning. I have so much more real science to share made specifically for men over 60, and I want you to be the first to receive it. Remember this. Aging is not a sentence. It is an opportunity to live longer, live stronger, and shine brighter than anyone ever expected. And it all begins with one small but powerful choice. The golden ritual. 10 minutes a day to reconnect with yourself and take your life back.